got nothing but respect for Kepu and his gym walking into this fight. I know what he's capable of. I know his experience. I know his striking. And like you said, it's a match for fireworks. That we're definitely going to go in there and we're going to throw down, and it's going to be exciting. I don't see this playing out as a 3-rounder. I'll be very, very surprised. And if it does, it is 100% going to be fight of the night. It'll be bloody. It'll be exciting. It'll be the best fight you'll have all year. But I don't see it lasting 3 rounds for either of us. So yeah, I think this is my first opponent, respectfully, that is gonna make me kind of shine brighter than I have. He's gonna stand there. He's got the composure. He's got the experience to kind of deal with the punches. And the longer I'm in that cage, the worse it's gonna get. Like I said, I've only just hit my stride. I haven't even showcased what I can do. So yeah, I'm really, really hoping that he brings it. And I'm really hoping that brings out the best in me, and you're going to have a great night.
Oh! First of all, introducing our challenger.
Coming out of the blue corner. He's going to step in, and he does. It's all over.
Let's bring on the boom.
This is Eternal MMA.
All right, everybody, welcome back, and thank you for joining us here once again on another edition of the Eternal Insiders Podcast. We are being joined today by a man who early this year made a massive statement in the middleweight division, a first-round destruction of his opponent at Eternal 83, and he's looking to back it up this coming Saturday, June 22nd, at Eternal 86, when he takes on Nick Kepu in an absolute on-paper fire matchup that we cannot wait for. Please join me in welcoming in Blair Bretag to the program for the very first time. Blair, pleasure to have you here, brother. We've spoken a couple of times, first time on the show. Good to have you here, man. How are things lining up for you ahead of this fight? We're just a few short days away. How's everything trending for you in the build-up to this one, man?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Luke. It's been good to finally jump on and tell my story and get my face out there. Mate, the prep for this fight's been unreal. Like you said too, like this is a fire matchup. 2 great strikers. Kepu's got some great striking, great experience. And what I've showcased so far in my only 3 fights, I think this is set to be on par with fight of the night. It'll be very hard to beat. I know there's lots of great fights there, but yeah, I'm super excited for this one, man. The whole camp, there's been a great energy in the room and attitude towards this fight. So, mate, we're in the final stages now. It's only a few days left, and then it's showtime.
Hell yeah, man. We're very excited for this one. I mean, it's a stellar card, but this is certainly one of the standout matchups that we have on the main card. And we're going to talk a bit about that. We've had sort of a bit of a funny kind of introduction to each other a little while ago when myself and Daryl on the podcast talking about the fights. We were kind of butchering your last name there a little bit. I think I saw you share it on social media. Let's clear this up once and for all. I'm pronouncing it right now, Bretag, right? We're getting that correctly. I heard a second half from Daryl. Beautiful, because I'm confusing myself a little bit. I watched back on the broadcast. I'm hearing Bretag. I'm hearing Blake in the post-fight interview saying Bretag. I'm like, I'm going to go with the 2 out of 1 that I've heard here, that it's Bretag. So we're confirming that's correct.
Yes, it is. Honestly, my amateur career is in Muay Thai. I think one person got my last name right. I've had Blair Bretag. I've had Blair Brett. I've had everything. So yeah, no dramas, mate.
I think at some point, either myself or Darren were trying to pronounce your last name. We started off by saying Brett is your first name. We're like Brett Bretag. Yep. So I think Darren might have said it. I don't know. We got it wrong a couple of times, but I can sympathize, man, because no one gets my last name right either. So it's totally okay. What are the origins of the Bretag? I think Darren might have said he found out it maybe was something German or something. What's your origins?
Yeah, so it's German. I think my brother deep dove and where our origins kind of started. And yeah, Bretag is German and established from Bretagny, which is a Viking last name as well. So yeah, I don't know how far he looks back into that, but yeah.
Hey, let's carry that Viking spirit into this next matchup, man. It's we got to wear that in our sleeve for sure. I did want to actually ask you a little bit about your background too in martial arts, man, because of course this is your first time coming on the podcast. I know that you have competed in Muay Thai and things like that in the past. You obviously didn't start with mixed martial arts, but give us a bit of an insight into where this all started for you in terms of your combat sports journey and what sort of ultimately led you to choosing mixed martial arts as a professional career now.
Yeah, mate, it started about 12, 13 years ago now. My brother's quite a few years older than me. He's almost 10 years older than me, and he was doing Muay Thai for years, and at that point he was winning Queensland and Australian titles. So I really looked up to him, and that age gap means there wasn't a lot of time spent together. So I really wanted to join martial arts, one, to hang out with him, and two, because that's what he did, right? So I really looked up to him. I started Muay Thai when I was about 14 or 15. Now, did that for years and just fell in love with it. I've always done sport, but yeah, I just fell in love with the discipline, the constant improvement, and yeah, everything you have to do to be a good martial artist, right? It's a forever evolving kind of entity. Um, and then I had a few amateur fights over those years. I had 4 amateur fights over, I think, 4 or 5 years, and then kind of just on and off training. I traveled, I had work, obviously left school, and it wasn't until I landed in Brisbane after traveling overseas in 2020 that I was like, okay, I want to get back into this. It's one of my favorite pastimes. I've always loved it, and that's where I got referred to Team Compton. So got referred to Elliot, got his number, and I started with them when they moved to their new location in Northgate in 2021. And just training, doing classes, nothing in the horizon. Just wanted to get some time under my belt. And I spoke with Elliot about getting back in the ring. And he's like, look, have you ever thought about MMA? Because obviously they've got a great MMA team there. I was like, I mean, I've never thought about it, but like, I'll try anything once, right? And what started off as a conversation like that was, I'll try it. 2 weeks later, we had an offer from Beatdown. Now, obviously never done MMA before, just started grappling. I should be going amateur, but that was my very first fight. It was light heavyweight, which is a division above what I normally fight at. It was 5 weeks notice, and it was professional against a guy who's had multiple kickboxing fights, a brown belt jiu-jitsu. Like, on paper, it was stupid, but dared to be great. And like, I was just trying it, right? It was just a one-off thing, and just fell in love with it. And that's obviously that first fight I had with Toa, 39-second finish. And yeah, it just, being with the team, training full time, and having that back in my life was everything that I knew I wanted and finally had again. So yeah, that started in 2020, and yeah, just been building that journey from there.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, because I took a look at your record, and no amateur record in mixed martial arts to speak of. So just jumping right in the deep end, man, and kicking things off. That's impressive. I mean, I know everyone's journey is different, but I mean, most guys you look at these days, usually with, you know, a healthy like 4, 5, 6 plus up to 10 plus kind of fights in the amateur ranks. You jump straight into the pros, and here we are.
Yeah. I mean, I've always kind of looked at, when I'm approaching these fights now that I'm in the pro division, is like, I'm always going to be the underdog, in the sense that these guys have up to 10 fights under their belt between pro and am. They've got the experience, they've got the composure, where I think I have all the skill in the world to take on every single one of these guys in the division. But people don't realize that I've only had 3 fights, right? If you total all my fights together, it's not even 5 minutes. It's not even a full round. So I'm learning every single fight. Every fight I come in, I'm a new and improved beast, but I've still got so much more to go, and I know that my potential is still out there. So yeah, man, it's a different journey, but it's yeah, the one I'm on.
And you certainly wasted no time in those couple of wins you had, man. Like you said, not even 5 minutes total time that you've sort of amassed there. 2 incredible knockout wins that you've had in your pro career so far. The last one, of course, coming at the hands of Darcy Noonan at Eternal 83. I mean, what a highlight finish that was, man. Absolute destruction in the first round. Flurry of strikes. I mean, the knees, the elbows, the power, the precision, man. Like, it was all there. It was all on show. Ultimately, Darcy just had to succumb to the onslaught that you delivered there. And I can only imagine that must have been quite satisfying for you, because you were coming off a loss prior to that. I believe you said in your post-fight interview, you dealt with like a hand injury and all that sort of thing as well. And so it was quite a tricky time for you to navigate. Can you talk a little bit about that sort of adversity they had to overcome coming off that loss, and then how satisfying it was to come back in, put a performance on like you did at Eternal 83, and get yourself back in the win column?
Yeah, that loss against Khan Sandy, like, I went from Toa debut to fighting a guy who's had 6 fights against some high level guys. Like, I went from deep end to even deeper in the end. Now, if you look at that performance, yes, I lost. Yes, it was a first round loss, but I put a pressure, a pace, and an aggression on Khan that he's never faced before. And I truly believe that another 30 seconds, that punch didn't land, things would have been different, right? But I was so proud of myself for that performance and learned so much from it. So it was never like a dull look on my career or something to kind of bounce back from. The only thing I had to bounce back from was the injury. Like I was just knew I was hungrier. Like I wanted it even more because I had lost. I'd learnt. I'd grown from it, and I just wanted to get back in there. So I shattered my hand. I had to have surgery. So I was out for 6 to 8 months before I could get back in the ring. Now that's over 2 years. I've only fought 3 times purely because I've been injured over the last 2. But this year I want to kind of make that different, and stepping into the ring to verse Darcy and what I did to him. Yes, I put it on a nice display. Yes, I threw everything I wanted to and I landed everything, but like that's scratching the surface. I've got so many weapons up my arsenal. I've got the experience with working with the team that I am, and yeah, I think that just opened the door to the Eternal world and the division that, hey, I am a real deal. You have to step up to fight me. I won't go away easy. Yeah, and it's going to be a hard fight.
No, you certainly made a statement, man. Put the middleweight division on notice, certainly for Australia and the Eternal MMA middleweights. You just talk about sort of the team that you're working with there now. Of course, we mentioned at the start of the show, you mentioned training out at Team Compton Training Centre, with Elliot and Stephen Compton. Of course, home to the likes of Tom Nolan. Your teammate, Don Marfan, competing on the same upcoming card, which must be pretty special. Does it make it that much more cooler, I guess, or just that much more exciting to kind of look forward to be able to come into a card, be able to train with a teammate competing on the same guard, having a similar goal in mind, rolling in on the same timeline. Is it that much more special for you? And can you talk a little bit about, Team Compton Training Centre and how they've sort of helped you develop at this point in your career as well?
Yeah, 100%. It's always good to share that camp with the teammate from the get-go. Now, our team's pretty active. Obviously, we got Tom fighting the UFC not too long ago, so we were at the end of his camp, moving into our camp. And these guys have helped mold me, even though they're younger than me, they've helped mold me into the athlete and fighter that I am today. Like how they approach their training, and this is with Elliot included, I should say. The way the boys approach their training, the intent, the intensity, the prioritization of what they do, I've learned from every step of the way, and being surrounded by the best, in my opinion, and the view of Australian MMA, it's molded me, and I've grown so much faster than I probably could have in any other environment. So yeah, it's special to share that stage with Dom on the weekend. We're both going to put on a show, and it's a guarantee. You see both our names, Dom's going to go in there and absolutely just put on an absolute clinic. I'm going to walk in there. I'm going to be aggressive. I'm going to throw down. Anytime you see Team Compton, that name on that sheet, it's an exciting fight. Doesn't matter if it's the top of the list or the bottom list. You know that we're coming in strong, and that's just a byproduct of that Steve Compton and what he creates in that gym. It's phenomenal what that man knows and what he forever keeps evolving to. So I truly think Team Compton is only just hitting their stride. Like, they've been around for a while. The team that you got at the moment, you got Ethan, Dom, myself, Jaden. We're only young. Like, they're early 20s. I'm one of the older guys in the gym.
And you're what? You're only mid 20s, aren't you? What, 25?
Yeah, I'm 26. I'm one of the older guys.
Man,
all these guys are 23, 21, and they're absolute animals. So give us 5 years. See us all on the world stage in the next 5 years. And yeah, I got no drama calling that out.
I think it's very, easy for like anyone like myself to come on the show and kind of big up a gym and say like, oh, we know what the guys from this gym are like. We know these guys are always rolling from the gym, from that gym, this gym, with an incredible attitude, and they always bring it in every single fight. But it's definitely true for Team Compton Training Centre, man. I mean, we talk about Don Marfan, Tom Nolan from yourself. That's just a couple of the guys. And I don't think I've watched any fight of any one of you three guys in particular, not to mention the other names, that haven't just bought it every single fight in every single minute of every fight, man. So it is a true testament to the guys at Team Compton Training Centre and Steve Compton, of course, Elliot Compton. Looking forward to seeing Elliot Compton compete again soon, hopefully as well. That'd be something very cool. So very much looking forward to seeing what comes next for you guys. Now, it leads into this fight with Nick Kepu, man. You touched a little bit at the top of the conversation about, what kind of scrap this is going to be. It certainly stands out as one to look forward to on a stat card for Eternal 86. What do you think this one sort of looks like on paper, man? I mean, you guys have both got a couple of knockout wins on your record, especially recently. Nick himself coming off a couple of knockout wins in the first round, just like you've got a couple of knockout wins in the first round. So, it sort of looks like this could be one that's just going to meet in the middle and maybe we see some fireworks again. It certainly looks like it ended up that way. What are your thoughts in terms of coming into this one? Do you think it plays out the same way it reads on paper?
Yeah, I got nothing but respect for Kepu and his gym walking into this fight. I know what he's capable of. I know his experience. I know his striking. And like you said, it's a match for fireworks. That we're definitely going to go in there and we're going to throw down, and it's going to be exciting. I don't see this playing out as a 3-rounder. I'd be very, very surprised. And if it does, it is 100% going to be fight of the night. It'll be bloody. It'll be exciting. It'll be the best fight you'll have all year. But I don't see it lasting 3 rounds for either of us. So, yeah, I think this is my first opponent, respectfully, that is going to make me kind of shine brighter than I have. He's going to stand there. He's got the composure. He's got the experience to kind of deal with the punches. And the longer I'm in that cage, the worse it's going to get. Like I said, I've only just hit my stride. I haven't even showcased what I can do. So, yeah, I'm really, really hoping that he brings it. And I'm really hoping that brings out the best in me, and you're going to have a great night.
Both of you guys are still so early in your career, but do you think, with everything we just talked about and what you guys bring, a couple of knockout artists in the first round already early in your career, do you think there's a particular area where you would think that you have the edge over Nick? Like, what do you think it takes personally for yourself to get the job done?
Yeah, I think what I've shown in the past is the array of like weapons that I can use and how fast I can move. Like I'm a middleweight, I punch like a light heavyweight, and I move like a lightweight. Like I'm fast on my feet. I can shoot power from a get go with nothing there. And I think, honestly, I just think my overwhelming pressure. Like I'm an aggressive fighter. I don't hide that. You see that every single fight, first round finish, but I'm chasing for it. I'm going for it. I'm not sitting there waiting for you to kind of touch. Like I'm searching for it. I want to get out of there early. I want a nice night to watch the rest of the fights.
I mean, you certainly backed that sentiment up with that last performance that you had at Eternal 83, man. You did say in the post-fight interview that you were putting the middleweight division on notice, that you're a true contender. You want to earn your stripes and you want to work your way up. When you sort of look at the landscape of the middleweight division, that we have here in the country, and by extension, Eternal MMA, what do you think sort of the middleweight division looks like at the moment and the landscape of that? Do you see a clear path to the top with the other contenders that you have in this division and potential opponents that you might have in your future? I'm sure the Eternal Belt is something that you're looking at. Do you see that path clearly without looking too far past this fight? Of course, do you see that path towards the title?
Yeah, and I honestly, I'm not sitting here kind of picking and choosing opponents and kind of working out who's next. I'm very focused on like the immediate future. But obviously, I in a perfect world, I'd love to back up this fight straight away and get another fight under my belt. Start looking at a title shot, right? I think with all first round finishes, another 2 fights under my belt with wins, like. You start looking at that top tier, who's there, who's left, who wants to fight, and you start kind of like crossing off names pretty fast. And my name's definitely up there after this next fight. My weight walking around and fighting at different divisions, look, there is also an opportunity that I could go up or down, right? Like I'm flexible. I'm happy to fight. I want to keep things exciting. So look, if it's top heavy and there's shit happening up there already, well, let's open the conversation. No is not the answer, right? Maybe, or let's talk about it later is what I'll say to you. So, look, yeah, I see a clear path, and the end of 2024, we could be looking at either a title shot or walking in 2025 with a title belt.
All weight divisions are on notice for Blair Bretag. He will take on all comers. Let's just keep the man active. And, anyone who needs to know about this man, please go onto UFC Fight Pass and check out the very short amount of highlights that he's got at this point in his career, because he does make it quick. Certainly get on and check out that most recent knockout because it was very impressive. Definitely one of the finishes of the year that we've had so far up until Eternal 83. Coming in looking to back it up this weekend at Eternal 86. Speaking of potential opponents for the future, man, again, not getting too far ahead of this one. But I've heard some rumors recently that a man has been calling you out, a man that actually shares a common opponent with you this weekend, in Alfred Stoddard, who recently had a fight with Nick Kepu. Have you heard about any of this as far as Alfred calling you out? What can you tell us about anything he's been saying as far as calling you out? I know from the inside that this is a matchup that the Eternal Brass would certainly like to entertain in the future should it pop up. What can you tell us about what you're hearing from Alfred?
Look, I'll never tarnish anyone's ability to try and promote themselves, but he's definitely been commenting on every single fight promotion post that I have for the last 2 years. He puts himself out there. He's active because of it, so I can't take away that aspect of it. But yeah, he's always in the back, just kind of putting his hand up, making sure that he's known that he's there, ready to fight. And look, I can't not respect that, but once I get through this weekend, he's coming off a win. I'm coming off a win. Look, I mean, it would be an exciting fight. He's a great striker. But, I think he's going to regret that decision pretty fast.
Well, let's not look too far ahead of this one, man. Do you like to keep your cards close to your chest? Do you have a prediction for this one? Do you think it's another first-round knockout? Do we wait and see how this plays out? What do you see in your mind when you think about how you get your hand raised?
Mate, I see this not going the distance at all. What round, I probably won't say too much. But all I can guarantee is it's going to be exciting. Like, for both of us walking into that cage on the Eternal stage, close to my hometown. I'm going to bring it. And yeah, it's going to be first or second round for sure. No doubt about it.
No stage bigger than the bright lights of Eternal MMA, man. Live and exclusive on UFC Fight Pass. Nick Kepu versus Blair Bretag. I almost got your name wrong there again as we wrap things up here, man. Blair Bretag. Let's keep the magic rolling there. Coming in hot this Saturday for June 22nd at Eternal 86. What a cracking main card that's going to be. Like we said at the top of the show, make sure you go and get your tickets at eternalmma.com. They are selling fast. You do not want to miss this one. Blair, my apologies. Sorry, we're doing it all again, aren't we? So Blair Bretag, thank you for joining me here on the show once again. I think we're going to have you here on the show probably 10 times, man. And we're going to butcher that so many more. So we'll just see if we can keep getting it right. We'll get some practice in, man. I'll make sure I get some more practice in. So thank you for joining me here on the show for the first time, brother. All the best this weekend, man. What a weekend it's going to be. And get yourself back on the show after you come away with a win, man. And we'll talk about how you got the job done, hey?
Will do. Thanks very much, Luke.